Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Matthew Miller. I'm the president of United Academics, Local 6741. And I'm here with Trent McDonald. Trent, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Trent McDonald, and American Association of University Professors, AUP national staffer.
And we're here to do a recorded version of the training that we did on Friday with some of the do sharing chapters on building power, building membership. So, what we want to talk about here today is why do we need to build power to win and how do we build power to win? So building power optimally requires both building member numbers and resources for our fights against our, quite frankly, much more powerful and well endowed opponents. But we get this. We get that it's hard. Both of these things are hard. Recruiting new members is hard. Recruiting dues paying members and recruiting members that want to participate actively in the life of a chapter, they're tough. And we also understand that we're all woefully underpaid. Costs are rising. Getting people to put money towards a membership for an AAUP is difficult. And we also understand that for many of us in advocacy chapters, in the past, prior to the dues sharing program, prior to many of the new programs that we've rolled out over the last couple of years, many of the advocacy chapters didn't see really meaningful local impact from the dues that our members were paying. So we get all that. But we really need to change this mindset in advocacy chapters if we want to transform our campuses and higher ed. We need to be acting like fighting union locals, and we need to prioritize actively building our dues paying membership base to realistically give us the best chance as chapters and as AUP at the national level, the resources to realize the ambitious goal of transforming higher education. So, one of the ways we like to talk about membership, dues paying membership, is as a force multiplier for our members. So we every day on campus, every semester, every year, we're often taken up fighting for just against whatever the latest dumpster fire is on our campus, whatever kind of latest program or cut or downsizing the higher ed administration at our campus has tried to implement. These take up a lot of time and energy. Um, but we have an ambitious goal. We have a really, really ambitious program to try to transform higher ed into a system that serves the common good. And to do that, we need members, we need people on the ground pushing that, as you see in the image there, pushing that boulder up the hill. But we also need resources because resources take the power that we have in numbers and then actually multiply that and allow us to do much bigger things, much more transformative projects at a much larger level. So, what we're asking you to do is to plan and execute a membership campaign. We want this campaign ideally needs to focus on having as many one-on-one organizing conversations as possible. This is not only going to be the best way for you to actually convince people to join, but it also helps build the relationships and building the solidarity among your campus colleagues that will give you the best chance to create a fighting, strong, and large local a chapter on your campus. It really is the one-on-one conversation really is the singularly most effective way to convince people to join and get involved, to pay the dues, but also to become activated members of your chapter. So I'm going to turn it to Trent here to talk a little bit about how we actually do it, the nitty-gritty of how we build a successful membership drive.
Hey, everyone. Again, so yeah, we like to use a lot of gardening metaphors in organizing, right? It's like this is prepping the groundwork to plant the seeds, and then you water them and tend them, and sprouts come up and they blossom and grow and everything else, right? And so, the first part of the groundwork that you do need to do to have a successful membership campaign is to build your list, right? Of making sure that you know who is already a member, and you can always reach out to me at AAUP National. Um, to get you your most up-to-date list, and we're rethinking and retooling some of our data. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be exciting. Um, and in addition of knowing who is already a member, you want to know your potential universe of people. So is it all faculty? Is it only contingent faculty? Is it faculty and white collar staff? Is it all faculty and all staff? Is it grad student workers, etc.? And so if you don't know where you're going, though, you're never going to get there, right? So you have to build the list, get all the contact information possible about office numbers and phone numbers and emails, and you want to combine those two of current membership base list with the whole sort of map roster of the universe of people you're trying to organize. Next slide. And after you have that list together, the second thing you want to do is developing a tight organizing plan. And so people are busy, right? This kind of spade work organizing, to stick with the gardening metaphor, is really easy to not do. How many of you don't water your plants at your house on a regular basis, right? It's like if you have to factor it into your schedule, and it feels immensely and deeply rewarding, particularly when team up with other folks to organize across your campus together, right? And it has to be personal contact, right? Like one-on-one outreach is the most fundamental thing. I'll say that again. One-on-one outreach and conversation and dialogue is the most important thing. Nothing else is nearly as effective. And there's plenty of research about this. If you want me to send it to you, I'm happy to. And so you want to make a tight organizing plan about how to cut through the busyness of people's lives, both your organizing base as well as the future members that you're trying to win over to become AAUP members like yourself. And so you want to have a tight plan of who's reaching out to whom, when is that going to happen, how is that going to happen? You know, we're going to go to Smith Hall at 12 p.m. Who can join me for an hour? Right? Can I get 4 people? Those kind of requests to your active members. And then making a plan to go after easy departments first and then harder departments later, right? And a good classic model is one person organizer is reaching out to 10 workers with an ask, whether that's to join me in organizing new members or becoming members themselves, right? And so we have some templates linked about how to have an organizing conversation, how to actually move someone to join, and those will be emailed out as a part of this membership recruitment package. And you can always reach out to me with questions, of course. Next slide. And so, all of that being said, there is a role to play with mass communications, right? Emailing is sort of number one, just it sort of governs our lives in interesting ways, right? And so, but there is a when and a how to it. It's not just something that you want to do like randomly, right? And they can be helpful in sort of spreading the news, putting it something on people's radar and to help set up and facilitate those one-on-one face-to-face structured organizing conversations, which are the real way to move a program like membership recruitment. And again, just without those structured organizing, you will not effectively grow. I want to underline that. Um, with all of those caveats, you should still send out a membership campaign launch email. And again, we have templates that you can customize for your campus and just to help sort of alert people, hey, we're working to build our chapter work to build our collective power. Next slide. And so that being said, after you fire off the emails, it's really about the follow-up. And again, one-on-one, great. Um, if, however, you want to turn on a movie and just sort of do some AAUP chapter building work, right? Like, which I would strongly encourage you to do, the one-on-one outreach via email it's not worthless, right? Like it has a really important role to play. And so like you want to split the list, you want to cut the turf, as we say, of I'm touching all of the German department, and Matt's going after all of mechanical engineering or whatever it may be, right? Like wherever you're trying to target. And so doing those personalized outreach of and say why you joined, right? About building the collective power, that individual narrative, personal narrative is really helpful and effective. And then asking them directly to also, become a member, right? So again, one-on-one outreach. Email does have a role to play. Next slide. It's also important to target your activists, right? Like so people that have like signed petitions, come to trainings or on a committee, but they're not, let's say going to all the meetings, they're not the secretary or treasurer or whatever of the chapter. Um, and they may not be even dues paying members, whether because they are unaware or, no one ever asked them, any number of reasons. And so like these folks that do turn out, but maybe just haven't filled out the form. Those are a really good, low-hanging fruit to go after. Next slide. In addition, you do want to try to grab your dues paying members that are not super active, right? That are not going to, you know, um, inherently show up, right? Like they're people that are kind of on the edge of your consciousness of, oh yeah, I see them every so often. They said, oh, this New York Times article about the AUP came out. That's really cool. Like that's an opening for you to bring them into doing more chapter building, organizing work, right? Those folks you really want to try to spend some one-on-one time with because they want to get more involved a lot of the time. They just don't know how. And so your goal is to orient them, direct them a little bit, um, and help them recruit another colleague to become a member. Yeah. Next slide. And then unfortunately, a lot of folks just fall off the member dues roles. Past members, we some, often call them, and they maybe could be they changed their credit card information, they moved, they were a part of a chapter at a different campus, and now they're at your campus. Um, any number of factors. These are people that are generally quite easy to sign back up. And so just look at your old membership list of a couple months ago, let's say 3 months ago, and what it is now, and try to find those dips and grab those folks. And again, template will be linked for to help facilitate this. Next slide. Finally, all of those mass communications, again, just to reiterate the point, are not a substitute for one-on-one organizing conversations. Ideally face to face, but if it's on Zoom, okay. If it's on the phone, okay. It is the singular most effective way, and it build relationships to build a stronger chapter. Think of all of these things as iterative steps. The more organizing conversations you have, the more successful you're going to be. I've seen it in many campaigns of starting a chapter from the ground up, winning union recognition, having a successful, job action like a strike or a mass march or something. You have to have the one-on-one conversations at each fork in the road for whatever you want to achieve. Next slide. Or that's the end. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
end.
end.
That's the last slide.
Thanks
Um,
for attending our little training series, folks. Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trent. I just want to emphasize, please reach out to us if you need support with your membership drive, to Trent, to myself, the other leaders in 6741, and also your AAUP staff organizers that you all have been assigned. We are here to help. We want to help, and we will also be distributing in the form of a two-page packet all those links and several other additional ones that should help you. So we wish you the best of luck and we hope you'll be in touch. And thank you so much.
Take care.